Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to all the sincere. Akwath and Shalom to the scattered Israelites who are amongst these heathen nations and look like these heathens. Now, this lesson is going to be based on this article in regards to 1 dead and 2 in critical condition following single vehicle crash in Leon County. So through the Spirit, I'm going to read this article, get some precepts, and Lord's will, you're edified. It says a 17-year-old is dead and 2 other 18-year-olds are in critical condition following a single vehicle crash in Leon County Saturday night, according to the Florida Highway Patrol. The crash happened on Thomasville Road near Amber Valley Drive just before 11 p.m. Troopers say there were 3 males in a sedan driving south on Thomasville Road. The vehicle then reportedly traveled into the shoulder of the road and struck a culvert and became airborne. FHP says the vehicle then hit a utility pole and began rolling over, ejecting the back seat occupant. Troopers say the sedan came to a stop on the western side of Thomasville Road. FHP says the rear passenger was pronounced dead on the scene, and the driver and front passenger were transported to Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare with critical injuries. FHP says next of kin has been notified, and right now the outside southbound lane is closed in the area. Yeah, so some heavy judgment. Some very heavy judgment. Some scary judgment. And this is, once again, another reason to fear the Lord, because this is what the Lord can do. This is the type of judgment that he can bring upon somebody. Psalms 9:16. The Lord Yahweh is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hand. Higgaion Selah. Yeah. And the Lord brought that judgment upon those 3 people. You know, one of them is now in the spirit world, and the other 2 are in critical condition laid up in a hospital. You know, this is no joke, man. When the Lord is angry with you and he decides to bring judgment upon you, it's going to be something serious. Psalm 7:11, Yahweh judgeth the righteous, and Yahweh is angry with the wicked every day. And judgment like that's the anger of the Lord right there. You know, and like I keep saying, and the men of the Lord in general keep saying, you know, it's these judgments that make you realize why you should fear the Lord. Because those people, those guys in that car, they didn't think that was going to happen. You know, they were probably just going for a drive. And then the end result is one of them is dead and 2 of them are in critical condition. You know, they didn't see that coming. But the Lord knew what he was going to do to them. And there was no way they could get out of that. Deuteronomy 32:39. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no power with me. I kill, and I make alive. I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. And this judgment is yet another example of the Lord killing and wounding. He killed 1 person, and he wounded 2 others. He critically wounded 2 others. and there was nothing that could have been done to save the one who died, that backseat occupant who got ejected from the vehicle during the crash. It's a very scary thing. But this is what happens when you anger the Lord. 1 Samuel 2:6, the Lord Yahweh killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. Yeah, so this was not random. This was not an accident. This was the Lord bringing judgment. And a lot of people just cannot wrap their head around that. And there's a lot of these simple people out here that will say, well, if this was the Lord, bringing that type of judgment, then that's why they don't believe in God. And it's like, it's not up to you whether or not you believe in the Lord. The Lord puts the Spirit on you to either believe or not. Once again, these people, these simple-minded people, think that they're in control of something. It's like, you don't control anything. If the Lord wants to save you, he'll put his Spirit on you to believe in him, and you'll understand his true name and his only begotten Son's true name, and you'll know about the Israelites and the Edomites and the law, statutes, and commandments, and a lot of things. Like, the Lord will open your mind to the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of these scriptures if he's dealing with you. But if the Lord is not dealing with you, then you're not going to have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And majority of the people out here do not have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding because they're wicked and the Lord is not dealing with them. Job 4:7, remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? And nobody has perished being innocent. So that one person who died in this crash, that person was not innocent in the eyes of the Lord. And that's why they received such a judgment, because the Lord was angry with them. I mean, the Lord was angry with all three of them. One person just caught it worse. So verse 8, even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. And we are living in that time. Like it says in Luke 21:22, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. And that's why every day people get wounded and killed, because that's the vengeance of the Lord. Proverbs 19:23, the fear of the Lord Yahweh tendeth to life, and he that hath it shall abide satisfied. He shall not be visited with evil. And like I said, majority of people don't fear the Lord. They're out here being just as wild and wicked and reckless as they can be because they lack fear. They lack fear of the Lord. They don't think there are consequences for their actions. They're out here thinking, oh, you only live once, so it doesn't matter. And it's like, that's not the case. You actually live multiple times. That's why reincarnation is a thing. And the scriptures speak about that. The scriptures tell us that every third or fourth generation, you get brought back. So if you died today, 3-4 generations later, you'd come back. So that whole you only live once is complete BS. And it's just people's, these simple-minded, wicked people's excuse for acting wicked. They're like, oh, it doesn't matter. You only live once, so you might as well be as wild as you can be. That's their, wicked reasoning. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. all you're going to do is spend your life being wicked and angering the Lord, and then the Lord is going to bring some horrific judgment upon you. Like, that's what's going to happen. But that's a lesson that these people are going to continue to have to learn the hard way. Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Verse 2, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. And in this particular case, for that one person who was in the backseat of that vehicle when it crashed, it was their time to die because they got ejected from the vehicle and they were pronounced dead at the scene. Hebrews 10:31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. And this was just another example of that. Because, like I said, those guys were probably just trying to get where they were going. And the Lord just completely turned it into a nightmare for them. But this is why you have to daily examine yourself and see if you're doing things which are righteous in the eyes of the Lord. Because this is what happens when you're being wicked. When you're wicked in the eyes of the Lord and the Lord is angry with you, these are exactly the type of judgments that may be brought upon you. You know, it's all fun and games being wicked until the Lord brings that judgment. And then people start dying or being critically injured. And then it's not fun anymore. To be honest, it was never fun. It was just wicked, simple-minded people, you know, being rebellious. And they got punished for it. Severely punished for it. You know, so as I've said before, those of us of the hopeful elect, we're supposed to look at these judgments, and it is supposed to scare us. Because it's just showing you what the Lord can and will do to you if you anger him, if you provoke him unto wrath. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. The water Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to the sincere Akwath. Shalom to the scattered Israelites who are amongst these heathen nations and look like these heathen. Hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up in Adawan, Ratazah. Till next time, Shalom.